The immigration figures are nothing short of horrendous. If you're trying to get a GP appointment, good luck. Traveling on Britain's motorways? Forget about it. In 2023, under a Conservative government, nearly 1 million net people flooded into our country. And you might have noticed something alarming. The quicker the population rises, the poorer the average family in Britain becomes. Those figures are undeniable. Have you ever felt like politicians aren't listening to your concerns? That's exactly how millions of Brits have felt, and Nigel Farage tapped into that frustration in a way that resonated deeply with the public. Before we dive deeper, I have a quick favor to ask. If you appreciate this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing, and it costs you nothing but makes a huge difference for us. Did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you. Now back to the issue at hand. As you watch Farage challenge Starmer on immigration and the economy, you might find yourself nodding along. The questions he poses are the ones many of us have been desperate to have answered, and when Starmer struggles to respond, it's hard not to feel a sense of vindication. With Labour, it's even worse. I doubt their efforts to tackle the gangs will yield any results. It's worth mentioning the asylum bill we've seen recently. I don't know the exact figures, but it's easy to deduce that the costs are several multiples of what has been stripped from Britain's pensioners in terms of their winter fuel allowance. These statistics are infuriating, and I believe the general population shares that sentiment. For Keir Starmer to stand up yesterday and read from the autocue as he did? This isn't just politics as usual. It's a moment that could reshape Britain's future. Farage stepped into the debate arena as a political outsider, but he was far from unprepared. Known for his maverick reputation and unconventional approach, Farage brought a secret weapon to his face-off with Starmer, a razor-sharp command of immigration statistics and a knack for connecting with everyday viewers. As the cameras rolled, the contrast between the two politicians became strikingly clear. Starmer, with his polished demeanor and carefully crafted responses, represented the traditional political establishment. Farage, on the other hand, exuded raw, unfiltered energy that resonated with many viewers at home. Farage wasted no time deploying his trademark direct language. He painted vivid pictures of struggling communities and families feeling the pinch of rising living costs. These relatable examples struck a chord with the audience, forcing Starmer to confront the real-world implications of Labour's policies. But it was Farage's mastery of immigration statistics that truly caught Starmer off guard. With rapid-fire precision, Farage rattled off figures on net migration, asylum applications, and the strain on public services. Starmer, visibly flustered, struggled to counter these numbers with equally concrete data of his own. As the debate heated up, Farage began to challenge Starmer on specific policy points. He questioned Labour's stance on border control, the impact of immigration on wages, and the party's plans for integrating new arrivals. With each query, Starmer found himself increasingly on the defensive, unable to provide clear, concise answers that matched Farage's assertive style. The turning point came when Farage confronted Starmer about Labour's seemingly contradictory positions on immigration. He highlighted past statements from Labour MPs that appeared to conflict with the party's current stance. Caught between appeasing his party's diverse voter base and addressing public concerns, Starmer struggled to articulate a coherent response. As the debate moved into its next phase, the stakes were higher than ever. Farage had successfully thrown Starmer off balance, leaving the Labour leader scrambling to regain his footing. The question on everyone's mind was whether Starmer could recover or if Farage's unconventional tactics had already sealed the outcome of this high-stakes political showdown. Just when Starmer thought he had weathered the worst of Farage's attacks, the true test of his leadership was about to begin. The next few minutes would expose a fundamental flaw in Labour's approach to one of Britain's most divisive issues. Starmer's current stance on immigration has been a tightrope walk, trying to balance the concerns of traditional working-class voters with the party's more progressive elements. This balancing act has left them vulnerable to accusations of indecision and being out of touch, particularly in areas where immigration is a hot-button issue. As Farage launched into his next line of questioning, the pressure on Starmer was palpable. The UKIP founder didn't pull any punches, hitting Starmer with a barrage of statistics that painted a damning picture of Labour's immigration record. Of the last 2 million immigrants who arrived from outside the EU under Labour's watch, only 16% are employed, Farage declared, locking eyes with Starmer. How can you justify a policy that's making Britain poorer and stretching our public services to the breaking point? Starmer, visibly flustered, attempted to counter with Labour's plans for a points-based system and promises of better integration, but his words lacked the conviction and specificity of Farage's attack. As Starmer fumbled through his response, it became clear that Labour's carefully crafted messaging on immigration was unravelling in real time. The debate reached its climax as Farage prepared to deliver his final argument. The studio fell silent, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Leaning forward, Farage's voice was low and intense. Are we exploiting our independence to our best advantage? The point about independence is that we're in charge, so we can get things right or we can get things wrong. Think as a regular voter. You feel that the cost of living has affected your daily life. If I lived in Barrow-in-Furness and worked in the submarines, yes, I would absolutely be more annoyed with the way Brexit has been delivered than anyone. As the debate drew to a close, the immediate impact was clear. Social media exploded with reactions, many expressing support for Farage's direct approach and questioning Labour's credibility on immigration. Starmer left the studio looking shell-shocked, his team already scrambling to do damage control. The aftermath of this debate promised to reverberate through British politics for weeks to come. As the dust settled, one question loomed large. Could Labour recover from this stumble, or had Farage's relentless questioning exposed a fatal flaw in their strategy? As we reflect on this explosive debate, it's evident that Farage has reshaped the political landscape. His command of immigration statistics and relatable examples struck a chord with viewers, leaving Starmer struggling to respond. The moment Starmer fell silent in the face of Farage's pointed questions about Labour's immigration policy may well become a defining image of this political era. The long-term impact of this debate could be seismic, as Farage positions himself as a credible alternative to traditional party leaders. His ability to connect with voters and address their concerns head-on has resonated deeply, potentially reshaping public opinion on key issues like immigration and economic policy.